The Southwest region is a poetic land for our generation, and we always long to visit. When our childhood was immersed in the pages of the book, Dat Rung Phuong Nam, by writer Don Joy. Last weekend, taking advantage of the absence of classes according to the agency's schedule, I took the opportunity to go on a business trip to some provinces in the Southwest region. For a history teacher, when having the opportunity to go on a business trip is an opportunity to learn through exploring and experiencing regional culture, to teach history better and more convincingly. I always have wishes. If I have the opportunity to travel to localities and regions in my country, I will first visit 3 regions with the name Te of the country: Northwest, Central Highlands and Southwest, because I will find there the unique cultural features of the land and people that are characteristic of each geographical, historical and cultural space. Thinking about the southern land is to think of the land of immense nature, fertile fields, and crisscrossing canals. The rich nature has bestowed upon the people here a prosperous life. Inheriting the achievements of many generations of people who came to reclaim the wild lands, the wild fields full of miasma under the river, crocodiles wade, on the banks, tigers roar. When talking about the process of reclaiming wild lands, expanding the territory to the south, we think of 2 verses of Win Van Nagi. Since the time of carrying swords to open the country, for 1,000 years, I have missed Thang Long Land. If autumn in the north, people often think of the poetic, sad images of falling yellow leaves, then the west welcomes autumn with a flood season full of vitality with the cool, blooming green colors of nature and autumn scenery. Luckily, my recent business trip to the west happened right during the flood season. People in the West often call the flood season by many names such as the rising water season, the high water season, the flood season. Every year, from around July to October of the lunar calendar, i.e. around August to November of the solar calendar, the water from the upper Mekong River flows into the Mekong Delta, creating a sea of water from Injeong, Dong Thap along Vin Tay Canal to Keen Jeong, the end of the flood season. The interesting thing is that while this season in the north is the season of storms and floods that destroy crops, property and threaten people's lives, in the west it is different. The water does not rush like a flood. The water rises slowly, filling the rivers and then overflowing the banks and into the fields. Although these are all flood phenomena, people in the West do not consider them natural disasters. For them, the flood is a happy one. Big water, lots of fish. During the flood season, people in the West are also the busiest. They consider the flood season as a season to change their farming methods and livelihoods. Instead of farming, they switch to exploiting the abundant resources that water brings. This is the time when everything in this region seems to grow and flourish during the flood season. Just go to Kai Rang Floating Market in Kendoo during the flood season. You will see the hustle and bustle of the harvest of farmers in the Western River region. The flood season is the season for the land in the lower Mekong River to rest, wash away and submerge sources of pests for crops and provide a fertile amount of alluvium for the Mekong Delta. The images of rising water, vast fields of water in the movies that I used to watch, such as Wild Fields, Monsoon Season, flood season, southern land, buffalo wool season. Help me understand when I came here why this is the water season to revive this land, the season to exploit the products from water that nature has bestowed. In the middle of the vast water, the green fields filled with alluvium bring new life to lotus, water lily, reed grass, and cajeput forests. This is also the season when flocks of birds fly back to nest, breed, and thrive in cajeput and mangrove forests. The yellow flowers of the wild sesbun flowers along the riverbanks and canals are hastily picked by people to process into dishes such as salads, stir-fries, and hot pots with lin fish. The round white-bellied snakehead fish and the crabs with full claws will be processed into a bowl of sour soup with water lilies, water hyacinth flowers, young lotus leaves, water chives. In the flood season, the season of rowing boats to the shore, shaking a few times and the flowers of the wild sesbania will fall down. People in the West will pick up the leaves and stems to collect the flowers to make many delicious dishes. In the flood season, the specialty of lin fish is famous throughout the South, and the dish of lin fish sauce is famous throughout the region. The bustling boats going back and forth loaded with fish, shrimp, crabs, and wild sesbania flowers. Water lilies are crowdedly poured into the fish market. The floating market has created a unique cultural feature that attracts tourists. The flood season begins with the red alluvial water flowing from the Tonle Sap Lake of Cambodia along the Mekong River to the downstream, divided into two branches of the Tien and Hao rivers. At this time, the hot days have passed and water is flooding the vast Mekong Delta. Houses are flooded, water overflows, fields are covered with water, but for farmers in the West, it is an anxious wait for gifts from nature to help them improve their life of working hard. Farmers in the West during the flood season use boats as their homes. All activities and meals are on boats with frugal meals, hurriedly to keep up with the currents to make a living. Fishing tools during the flood season are bottom fishing, nets, casting nets, fishing lines, and casting nets. There are markets that are only open during the flood season. The specialties that nature has bestowed are sold in the fish markets such as fish, shrimp, eel, snake, bird, mouse, stork, lotus, water lily, sesbania flowers. My luck, as a history teacher, is to be able to go to the West during the flood season, to feel with my eyes and ears the unique features.